A Helena Valley school was evacuated today after officials found what was initially reported to be a possible explosive device. But law enforcement now say it doesn't appear the item was dangerous. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian has been following this story all day. He joins us now live from Rossiter Elementary with the latest.
Evelyn, law enforcement was on scene here for much of the morning, investigating what at that time was reported as a potential explosive device. But at an afternoon news conference, Lewis and Clark County Sheriff Leo Dutton said it appears the item was not an explosive. School officials found it around 8:20 Tuesday morning. They closed off the area around the item, contacted law enforcement, and evacuated students to the nearby Little Red Schoolhouse. Dutton said officers on the ground found a plastic bottle. Until trained bomb experts were able to safely examine it, he said they had to treat it as though it might be an explosive.
The pop bottle had black tape around it. It was filled with nuts, bolts, and washers, and had a liquid in it. For the most untrained eye, including mine, would probably guess that quite possibly was an explosive device.
Investigators say the bottle came from a construction site, and they believe it was moved by a homeless individual. Dutton said it was not a hoax, and there was no malicious intent. He said the sheriff's office was releasing the information they had from their investigators as they got it.
Our purpose was to let people know, one, there was no one injured. Then it was told that it did explode. Still, there was no one injured. The kids were safe. That's what I needed to get out to the public. That's why we reported the information we had.
While this turned out not to be an explosive, Dutton said the school reacted correctly, and his office treats every case like this seriously.
We will take it on face value every time and treat it accordingly that it is some kind of exploding device.
Now, Sheriff Dutton says that they will continue to do additional tests on the bottle found out here in the school playground, but at this time they're not expecting to find anything dangerous. Reporting live in the Helena Valley, I'm Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
Thank you so much for that, Jonathan. According to Helena Superintendent Tyler Ream, the staff at Rossiter did exactly what they're trained to do for a situation like today's. Staff immediately alerted law enforcement once they noticed something unusual on the school's grounds. Then they evacuated children after police had swept the Little Red Schoolhouse area. Superintendent Ream estimated this took about 15 minutes total before students were safe on buses at the new site.
So usually, and same thing we did today is school messenger system. That's our most up-to-date system. So utilize the school messenger system, send out an update to say, first of all, we're being evacuated so that parents understand that something is occurring. And then second of all, this is what the protocol is in terms of picking up your children. Parents were fantastic. They were patient, they were kind, they seemed understanding, and certainly understood why we had all these protocols in place.
He said once the students were secure, the school could focus on alerting parents and families of the situation. Parents were then asked to come pick their children up. Dozens of cars lined Sierra Road and the frontage road as families arrived. Carissa Mason came from work to pick up her daughter, who's in kindergarten. She said parents were waiting around 20 to 25 minutes to be reunited with their children.
I personally got a phone call from my best friend telling me that I needed to go get my child. I mean, it's a process. There's 500 kids that they have to go through. The teachers did great, and they, they're so great here at Rossiter, and this was her first field trip.
Rossiter students did not return to class today, but school should return to normal tomorrow. Helena College also canceled classes on its 2 campuses today and sent students home. Other Helena and East Helena schools were placed on lockdown for a couple of hours and swept for threats. Those lockdowns were lifted just after 11 this morning.